Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. Here's our current Let's Play save. And we already have this rocket sort of ready to go on the launch pad. Valentina Kerman is our pilot today. And with any luck, she will be taking us to orbit. I've done some special configurations. This engine is running at 65% thrust capacity. This one runs at 35% thrust capacity. So I have a little bit of a multi-staging thing going on with this. And our sole purpose is to get into orbit, get flying around a whole bunch, and do a bunch of EVA reports since we have some buildings upgraded which allow her to actually get out of the cockpit and do EVA reports while in space. So we're going to orbit and circumnavigate Kerbal, hopefully, with this launch. And yeah, so here we go. That's a good liftoff. I like it. Not too strong. You know, between 2 and 3 Gs is just fine for a typical liftoff. We actually have control surfaces here which can help us fly this ship and keep it straight and true. Once you get a little bit off the launch pad, you always want to pitch over to about 5 degrees off of vertical. And we are busting through the sound barrier now. We don't have any control over our speed until these boosters fall off. That stage is done, and this booster is still maintaining a great amount of speed now. So we're going to go ahead and start just gently with our aerodynamic surface actually pushing this stage over. To get us a better flight trajectory here. This isn't a particularly efficient launch, but that's okay. And this can go at 1/3 throttle. This thing does not have a gimbal, so when we actually get into space, where our aerodynamic surfaces are no longer helping us, that is when the gimbal will take over. How's our apoapsis looking? Well, we flipped over to orbit mode now, so let's go ahead and get this throttle up and running and get our apoapsis up to the height that we really like, which is about 75,000 meters. We're now screaming out of the atmosphere here. Oop, 78. That's good enough. So we'll go ahead and so high up and so close we can go face the horizon here. And a little reaction wheel in the cockpit is good enough to maintain that. How's our fuel looking? We have 3/4 of a tank of fuel, so we should have no problem actually reaching and returning from an orbit. Just going to wait till we get closer to our apoapsis a little bit. And see if we can't get this thing going. So if you haven't had a chance, you should definitely check out Orbital Mechanics 101, Kepler's first law of planetary motion. It explains what an orbit is, what these terms are like apoapsis, what that actually means, and sort of what it takes to reach an orbit. So what I've done is sort of follow that method of Newton's hypothetical cannon, which is to build myself a mountain of momentum that peaks up out of the atmosphere. And once I'm at the top of that mountain, like so, I apply full thrust laterally to build up lateral momentum, kind of like a cannonball being fired out of a cannon, to give enough energy to circumnavigate Kerbal. So here we've got our rocket applying full thrust and lateral motion. You can see our orbit is getting longer and longer and longer. And very rapidly here, we are going to see it peak out of the other side of the planet. So I'm going to throttle back for some finer control. There's the periapsis. Throttle back even more, and zoop. a nearly perfectly circular orbit where we are very much in space. Contract complete. We didn't tell the recovery team that you'd be staying in space, so they are still looking. Great job. 68,000 funds, 12 science, 30 reputation. Valentina Kerman is going to have herself, assuming she gets recovered safely, she's going to level up, I think, and actually become a full-blown member of the people who can do autopilot things. Now that we are actually in space, we can do a whole ton of something really cool. She's in space. EVA. EVA report from space just above Kerbin's water. You've recorded your observations about the situation. So each of these situations, each of these different places, like above space, above the grasslands, above the deserts and things like that, is a different spot where we can collect a different observation about orbit. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward time here until about this spot, say, and get another EVA report. This is above Kerbin's grasslands. So this is a great way to get some science. We're just doing an observation of all these different places above Kerbin. Let's go ahead and fast forward time to the next observation point, which might be right there or right there. Keep ourselves centered on this 5 times. So how about right here? Let's see if we get something different. Oops, EVA. The Kerbin Shores, that's going to be worth a little bit more. Grab on, get inside. And next is probably this spot. Who knows if it's anything different or the same if we've got before. But if you want a bunch of science, you kind of do some repetitive scientific stuff. EVA. EVA report. That's the grasslands. So that's a duplicate. Wonder about this mountainous patch. Getting some nice little music here to indicate that we're in space. We're in space! Oops, I went too far. Now let's see if I get something. EVA quickly. The Highlands. Grab on and board. Yes, science about the Highlands is always nice. I don't know if there's anything particularly different around here. This might be mountains or something. We will try it. Whoa, not too fast. When we get there. It's getting to be nighttime, so... whoa, whoop, eep, oop. EVA. Once again, the Highlands. But, this right here looks like a pretty compelling screenshot for the mission. Click. So that ended up being repeat business. We'll come around. We're not flying over any mountains, per se. That's the ocean. This looks like an awful dark patch. Let's see if there's anything special about it. EVA. Above the mountains. Excellent. And on the dawn side, we will get an EVA report over the deserts. Oh, wait a second. Out of map mode. Gotta flip her over here. That's the screenshot for the episode. Right there. EVA report above the desert. Keep that data. Okay, the only thing that's left really is the shores and stuff. We could get this contract probably. What I want to do is set myself up for re-entry. So, one way to do it is to point retrograde and just thrust. But our periapsis is already over Kerbal. So what I'm going to do instead is point anti-radial, which is basically towards the ground. If I fire up the engines, I should be able to bring this periapsis down to re-entry height. And I want to re-enter at, I think, 32 kilometers. Try that. I'm going to go ahead and quick save just in case you blow up and I got that height wrong. But I think that's going to be okay. We hopefully will be in the atmosphere above Jebediah's cave, and if we happen to be, we can actually get this other contract done, which is a crew report at flight above 18,200 meters near Jebediah's cave. So that'd be kind of cool to get that accomplished as well. But in the meantime, we've gotten ourselves a re-entry attitude set up. We've quick saved. The only thing we need to do now is dump off this extra stage that is going to kill us if we still have it. So let's dump that. Parachutes are active. SAS turned off. Get ourselves pointed more or less retrograde, like so. And then get ourselves ready for re-entry. And I will catch you guys I will catch you guys as soon as we are at re-entry interface, so hang tight. Okay, I'm kind of hoping that we get to this Jebediah's thingamajigger, but we might just miss it. We're above 18,000 meters. Oh yes! Crew report. Keep that data. Excellent, we got that contract completed. Awesome. So that makes life a lot easier. This capsule is really designed to orient itself like this in re-entry situations. We have heat shields available as a separate part, but we don't need them because we're not actually coming in with enough orbital velocity to heat this guy up terribly bad. Got our auto camera on. Looks like we're going to be going downrange, but our re-entry interface is actually coming up somewhat soon. A nice shallow re-entry attitude right now. You can see our apoapsis is being pulled down from friction in the upper atmosphere. So once again, I'll check in with you guys during actual re-entry. Alright, I've fast forwarded time to our re-entry here. We are in fact starting to see re-entry effects. And if we go into the cockpit, we can just barely, I don't know if it'll come out in YouTube's rendering or not, but we can just barely make out the sort of superheated plasma that's flying by the window there. We can see our altitude is coming down quickly. Our surface speed is coming down slowly, actually, as we get into the ever-thickening atmosphere. There aren't very many G-forces being exerted on this craft at all, so this is a nice shallow re-entry, which is just going to sort of superheat that capsule. Starts giving off plenty of radiation. It's called black body radiation when things glow like that. We're getting some serious heat now. And there's the rest of our orbiter debris capsule right there. That thing's going to crash into the ocean or blow up or something. Yeah, we are coming down screaming hot. This isn't as hot as a interplanetary or even a Mooner to Kerbal type of setup. But generally you want to set up your re-entries sort of as shallow as reasonably possible so you keep heat on all your parts and stuff low. It gives them a much better chance of surviving the whole process. You can see our speed slowly bleeding off. And I have SAS off. I'm not touching any of the controls or anything. The capsule just automatically orients itself like this. I've heard of some problems where if you have a heat shield on here, the capsule doesn't tend to do so. It wants to flip over or something. So, I'm not sure what's going on with that. Uh-oh, the parachute's starting to overheat. There we go. A parachute deployed and slowed us right down. So now it's just a matter of coming down from splashdown. It's going to be a little bit later, and I'll check with you guys when we get there so we can close out this mission. All right, last few feet before splashdown, where Valentina Kerbal successfully completes her mission, recover that vessel. And we have gained 58 science. That's a massive injection of science. Very few parts, 852 funds from the recovered parts. That's not much, and we were also pretty far down range, so the value wasn't as high. But we're back up to 161,000 funds. Valentina Kerbal has gained an experience points and advanced to level 1, so when we see her next time flying anything, she will have some basic capabilities of maneuvering the ship, such as facing at prograde and facing at retrograde, and that will be endlessly useful when we're actually launching our rockets. Now, this episode's running a little short, so normally I'd do this in a separate episode, but I'm going to go ahead and spend the science now. We have 99 of the stuff. I really kind of want to get some more better aerodynamic stuff going on. Launch escape system, landing gear. This is retractable landing gear. It's flight control. Oh, so tempting. Structural fuselage. Advanced rocketry. This reduces our part count. That gives us the Terrier liquid fuel engine. Basically, if we did that, we'd be more or less ready to land on the moon, except for we wouldn't have enough battery. So I can go for one advanced, really advanced... Oh, look at that air intake. Yeah, I have to be a little bit smart and think about things, actually. I don't want to go too far up the tech tree. Basic science. You know what? This kind of stuff, a battery, we want that. We want a battery. We don't really need flight control all that badly. We'll take the battery. And buy all those parts for 5,900 funds. And up on the other side, we will get advanced rocketry. Yeah. Advanced rocketry. Look at that size decoupler. Oh, look at this engine. Vacuum ISP of 345. That's the best one yet. Yeah. Buy all those parts. Now, with a battery, our current staging technology, and this motor, if we really wanted to push ourselves, we could conceivably land on the moon. That would require... It'd be a bit of a stretch. It'd be a bit of a stretch, but I think it'd be awfully fun to at least try for a Mooner loop around on episode 4 or 5. Yeah. Who knows exactly what's going to happen there. I've spent my science. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the episode here. I will pick some contracts and build a craft for them in another bonus feature for episode 5. So until then, keep flying and stay shiny. Goodbye.